Hi, Maru. Welcome to the show.
Hello, thank you very much.
Thank you so much for being here. Why don't you tell everyone a little bit about who you are, what you do, where you live?
Yeah, I am a social cultural anthropologist. I grew up in Buenos Aires, Argentina, but I moved to Europe when I was 28, and now I've lived in Europe for some years. Hmm.
Yeah, very good. And just you've done like an awesome TED Talk.
Yes, I am a children's rights activist. I work for the right of children to live in a family, so to keep families together. And I
Yeah.
have a TED Talk
Yeah,
that you
yeah.
can watch if you want to know more about the rights of children to live in families.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing, pretty awesome. I feel pretty honored that you are in my program.
Thank you very much.
So, why don't you tell everyone a little bit about what your relationship with your body was like before we started working together?
Yeah, an important fact is that I grew up in an extremely male chauvinistic culture where women are still regarded as objects and like things to be possessed by men, basically. And there's a very big obligation for women to be pretty, to be attractive, especially to heterosexual men.
Wow.
So basically, before I started working on this, my main fears and frustrations had to do with whether I was attractive or not to men.
Yeah.
And also, since I come from a very fatphobic society, I used to consider that being fat was the opposite of being attractive. And so I was really frustrated about that.
Yeah.
I felt a lot of inferiority because of being a chubby woman, let's say.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And how did that impact your life? In terms of what was it preventing you from doing anything or, what was the impact on your life?
Yes, I think that there are many conditions that impact us as women in the cultures that we live in, that makes us feel inferior, that makes us have a low self-esteem, and
Mhm.
the relationship with our body is one of them. So since I thought that I didn't fit in because of a physical, I don't know, obstacle that I thought that I had, that I was not going to be able to succeed in other fields of my life, which is
Okay.
what the diet industry makes us believe, that we will never succeed in anything if we don't succeed in dieting, losing weight, and being pretty, basically.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So did you find that impacted like your career at all or anything like that? Just out of curiosity?
Um, okay, so before I moved to Europe, I did two treatments for my eating disorders, and there I met girls whose lives had really been impacted. So girls who had never been able to do a major, to do a career.
Yeah.
I was not like that
Yeah.
because I was extremely resilient, but definitely I didn't feel like a normal person. I thought
Yeah.
that like I would never be a successful person with a happy life because
Wow.
I felt like I have an obstacle with which was my body, my relationship with my body and food. Hmm.
Yeah. And so what made you decide to change?
Um, okay, so I will start talking about this like this period of my life in which I started listening to you and reading your blog posts and
Sure.
the things written by other activists like Virgie Tovar. I like her very, very much too.
Yeah, me too.
And everything. I know, and I liked the interview that you did a couple of weeks ago very, very much. It is a very good summary. And then I bought the book
It's really
because
good.
I really, really like her. And okay, so in that phase, I started reading you, and I realized that I had to have a feminist perspective on this body and food issue, that otherwise I was not going to be able to get rid of the limitations that I still had, because when I moved to Europe, because of my treatments, I didn't have problems with food. I didn't weigh myself. I didn't have those like hardcore eating disorder behaviors,
Hmm.
but I had other behaviors, and especially I had lots of preconceptions and lots of thoughts of hatred towards me, basically, towards my body and towards myself.
Yeah.
So I think that all of this work that we did and all of the things that you've written and your podcast helped me see things from a feminist perspective, from a perspective of social justice, that even though I am not in the lower ladder of social injustice, I am being affected by male chauvinism, by patriarchy, and that I have to fight against that. basically.
Yeah. And so that really motivated you to change. That really connected with
Yeah,
you.
that is.
Yeah, good,
That was
good.
motivating.
And so what were some of the key things along the way that helped you?
Well, for instance, there was a very important moment in which I started thinking about what facts I wanted to do to give in my life. That it couldn't, that if I had such high objectives, if I want to develop, a successful career in the field of human rights, for instance, it couldn't be that I still worried about my body and about what I look like and whether I am attractive to men or not. So I needed to really reallocate all of my facts. Like the situation couldn't go like this longer. So I thought a lot with the exercise that you gave us to do. I realized what the main traits of my personality were, thanks to the exercise in which we have to ask to other people what they think about us.
Yeah.
And that helped me very, very much. That was a very, very important moment. And another moment was when I realized that all of our decisions as women regarding our bodies and regarding food are being moralized, which is the same thing with women being a mom or not, having children or not. People really moralize us. They judge us because of what we eat, which is crazy. And we have to get rid of those cultural patterns. That shouldn't exist. That shouldn't be a thing.
Yeah.
We should be as free as men to take our decisions. And so that was another important moment for me. I don't remember when, most probably listening to Virgie Tovar was that I realized about this.
Yeah,
and,
yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
that I realized that I had to liberate myself from that.
Nice. That's awesome. That's so good to hear. Yeah, so it sounds like you were able to like really detach from your appearance and start to get to more like and use kind of that feminist perspective to do that. Like that really fueled you to say, I don't want to let, these standards dictate how I feel about myself and,
Yes,
what I do
exactly.
with my life. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So good. And so what were some of the highlight moments for you?
Well, the highlight moments were every time that I realized, thanks to these new perspectives, I realized what my real problems were. Because in the past, many times, the real problems that I was going through were hidden by food and body problems. So I would fix them by exercising, like so by doing things
Yes.
that won't fix them, that wouldn't solve these problems. So in the past months, I've been thinking about what I really want to do with my life, and and about my role in society, and my position as a South American woman living in Europe, and all of this. And those were the most important things when I contemplated what my real problems were and how to solve them,
Yeah.
basically.
Yeah. So it sounds like, and just I know from like our conversations together, it's just you have a lot more clarity on, like, you're a lot more present in your life and what you want for your future than you were before, in terms of before it was more like the you were distracted by like the focus on exercise and food and things like that.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, and
That is a
so
little bit I think the role of, yeah, sorry.
no, 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 finish your thought. Go ahead.
I was going to say is that I think that this is the role, so the objective of all of this diet culture bullshit, to keep us occupied on things that aren't important, so that we are domesticated, so that we are worried about being likable and attractive, and we cannot worry and spend time fighting for the things that are really important.
Yes.
Just that.
Yeah, awesome.
And I was one more woman doing that, and I am happy that I am not doing that anymore, that I
Awesome.
can worry about things that are truly affecting me and that are affecting other women too.
Nice. That's so good. Yeah, so like how does that feel for you? How do you feel about your body now? Now that you've kind of really gained this new perspective.
Yes, something that is important about the relationship with my body is that I stopped being so fat phobic. So I am more tolerant towards myself and to the changes of my body. I am more accepting of the fact that I am going to get old and I am going to get fat sooner or later, especially because of my genetics. I am a chubby person. Let's say I will continue to be like this, and I have to accept it so that I can live my life regardless what I look like. So that
Yeah.
was a very important thing. and also interpersonally, so in my relationships with other people, stop being fatphobic, help me be more tolerant to the differences of other people, to be more tolerant to yes, I think to that,
Yeah.
to other bodies and so on.
Yeah. So how's that changed the way that you feel about yourself?
Okay, so I am more tolerant to my how do you say this? So I accepted that I am not perfect. I cannot be perfect. I cannot do everything perfectly all the time. So I think that I am more understanding towards myself. Another very important point in the program was to learn about self-compassion. That also helped me very much. I was very confident from before. So if I did a TED talk, it's because I am confident. I have no problem speaking in public and all of these things. But I was not compassionate towards myself. So being compassionate helped me be understanding as to why I do the things that I do, and that sometimes I will make mistakes, and that
Yeah.
it is okay. I
Yes, yes.
shouldn't be so hard on myself.
Yes, I remember talking to you about this and just like the pressure that you put on yourself and to just be a little bit more gentle and kinder to you.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So how does that feel to kind of have relieved yourself of some of this stuff?
I feel very liberated. I feel very relieved, and I feel happy to know that there's no coming back. There's no way back. I am not going to come back to be the Maru that I used to be a couple of years ago. I feel like I am more mature now, and that I am more intelligent and and I can be in charge of my life now
Hmm.
instead of some false expectations about what I should be like or what I should look like. I will give an example if that's okay.
Yeah.
You can not use it because it is about abortion, and I don't know like what about your audience. So I will start my example from now onwards. A short time ago, in my home country in Argentina, the topic of the legalization of abortion was discussed
Yeah.
in the Senate, the Congress and the Senate. We have the same system as in the U.S. It didn't pass, but there were huge social mobilizations, demonstrations. The day of the voting, there were 2 million women on the street in Buenos Aires next to the Congress.
Wow.
And so what we all were saying is that even though the law was not passed, it will happen because there's no turning back. Okay, culture is changing. We are becoming a more liberalized society, a less male chauvinistic society, a less patriarchy society, and there's no turning back. This is going to continue growing. And I feel the same thing about me. I am really relieved and really glad and thankful to everyone who helped me to know that I am not coming back to be fatphobic, to having all the behaviors that I used to have. And I think that is very important for me.
Yeah, yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. I love your tenacity and like you're very much like we're going to get this done. Like I'm going to change, like I'm done with this.
Yeah.
And I think that that serves you so well, like obviously in your career and all the work that you do and now like you personally too. So I admire that so much in you. Like you're just like you make up your mind on something and then you're like, okay, let's like figure out let's do this.
Yeah, how to do
And
it.
very determined and brave. And I think and I really admire you. And I know because I know like it hasn't been necessarily easy doing this work in a different culture too, like and having to navigate that's been like a whole other layer to it.
Yeah, okay, thank you very much.
Yeah, you're welcome. So what advice do you have for people listening?
Yes, some advice that I have is that from my experience, because of what I went through, I think that there are many women who are in the position to change, to get to the other side, accept their bodies, stop worrying about food, liberating from all of these cultural imperatives of being thin and beautiful and attractive, and all of that bullshit that drives us crazy, women. But they don't do it because they believe that in doing so, they will lose some kind of privilege that they will lower in
Mm-hmm.
in the social ladder. Okay, so what I want to tell them is that you are not going to lose anything. I am quite low in the social ladder. I am a Latin American woman living in a white country, in a white European country. And I tell you, I have never been happier and more liberated, because now I can see things from what they are. I feel like I am more mature and that I can pursue the things that I really care about, instead of some privilege that I will lose at the age of, I don't know, 40. I don't know for how long you can be thin and beautiful and young, but it's definitely not a kind of privilege that really benefits women. So what I would tell them is that they use the time that they are wasting trying to pursue this privilege, which is not happiness, that Virgil Tovar talked about. Is consumption society try to sell us the idea that privilege is happiness, and that is not true. Women will find happiness by by stop to waste their time in dieting and being thin and being attractive, and using it for their purposes, for the things that really makes them passionate.
Yeah.
So this is what I would advise them, that the work is really hard, but then when you get on the other side, life is much more awesome than it was when you were pursuing that thin privilege and beauty privilege, and I think that it is worthwhile to do it.
Yeah, amazing. So good. I love the way you said all that. I think you're just going to do such amazing things because you have such a passion for this, and you really like this is going to carry over to your work. And I feel like you need to be a spokesperson for this because you're so good at speaking about it too. It's really awesome to hear you.
Yeah. No, and I want to tell you, I know that you're going on your maternity leave, so then I will talk to you in some moment when you are less busy, because I would like to translate some of the things that you wrote, and I want to, not me, because I am not like a social influencer, but to share it with other people, with your permission, of course, who are feminist social influencers in Argentina, because Argentina is the second in the rankings of eating disorders. 1 every 4 girls has an eating disorder.
Oh my gosh!
So we need to work on this.
Yeah.
It is terrible, and I think that without a feminist perspective, it won't work. Yeah. The work to end this eating disorder bullshit is through a feminist lens, from my point of view.
Yeah.
So, and in some moment I will talk to you so that I can promote the things with your name and with your permission and all of this in Spanish.
That'd be amazing.
Because we really need this. Really.
I would love that. I would love nothing more than that. I think that's so great. We'll take that one offline for sure. And when I'm back from mat leave, but that's
very well.
That gives me like goosebumps hearing you say that. So yeah, I mean that would be. I think that there's a lot of English speaking people doing this work, but yeah, you're right. It needs to be translated and shared in other cultures where. Perhaps it's not being talked about as much, and it's so important, especially hearing that it's like 1 in 4 women have eating disorders. That's mind blowing, really is. Well, thank you. Yeah, well, thank you so much for your time. I really, really appreciate it. It's been so great to catch up with you and hear you, and I just think that you're such a role model, and you're going to do such incredible things with your life. You're going to be on that stage again, and you're going to be helping so many people with your mission. And I'm just super proud that you came into my life and that you did this program.
Okay, thank you very much. You're saying very nice things.
I mean it.
I don't think that I am so awesome, but thank you very much. And no, thank you, really, like all of these things, because I did all of the programs and I bought the book and everything that you have done. So everything was super useful. There was nothing that I thought, this is useless, or I didn't take anything out of it. Everything, all of the articles that you wrote, all of the shows from I have listened to each show from the podcast many times, and they were all extremely, extremely useful. And I wouldn't have been able to do this work without the things that you have created. So thank you very much, really.
Thank you so much, Maru. Rock on.
Okay, thank you. Bye.